Whisper Podcast. Oh, sorry. Whisper Podcasts may contain content that may be sensitive for some listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
That's better.
Hello, and welcome to Whisper Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Zach Tyler. My pronouns are they, them.
And I'm Dylan Gomez, and my pronouns are also they, them. And this is a podcast where
the fine arts, true crime, and mental health are a throuple.
And we bring you episode 11.
And this was a rather hard case for me to research just because it deals with suicide. So this is just a little disclaimer that if you're sensitive to the topic of suicide, I definitely recommend that you skip this episode because it is rather heavy. But before we jump on into today's episode, how are you doing today, Dylan?
I'm doing well, but I am nervous. So we are recording this the day it comes out on November 2nd. So tomorrow is election day. So there's a lot going on right now with all that. But other than that, I mean, whatever the outcome is, I just hope that everyone is okay for the next 4 years. I hope that the progress that many minority communities have had in the last few years when it comes to laws and protections stay in place. And yeah. And I'm going to reward myself with an Americano today, so right after this.
Yes!
So.
Yes! Hello, coming through with the Americanos. But I totally feel you on that, Dylan. With the election coming up, everything has kind of been nerve-wracking. Like, for me, it's been a lot of subconscious nervousness. But, you know, I noticed that almost everybody is nervous one way or the other. So just remember to take care of yourself during this time and show up for yourself and be present and listen to what your body needs and, you know, what you need most during this time to care for yourself. Obviously, let's hope that it goes in the direction that we want it to go in, but let's just prepare for the best. So, otherwise, I'm glad you're doing well, Dylan. I'm really glad that you're treating yourself to an Americano. I treated myself to one prior to recording, so I feel a little bit like that squirrel from Hoodwinked, where they like talk really fast. But I'm doing great.
There we go. Awesome. So how else? So you're doing good then? You're doing...
For the most part, you know, so as Dylan mentioned, we are recording this on the 2nd, which is literally the day it comes out. I recently started work again, so that's mostly what I've been kind of doing. So we've just been managing and, you know, trying to make it work best. So here we are. I'm so happy to be sitting down with you and so happy to, for lack of a better term, I'm happy to tell you this story.
Thank you. I mean, I think the best way to pay respect to especially people who have passed away is to share stories.
Yeah, you know,
so, even the hard
because
ones.
it can help to prevent it for somebody else, or it could help you to see the signs within somebody else, or even for yourself. So, you know, I think that sharing this is going to be very important. So I am going to be telling the story of the death of Conrad Roy. There has been a couple of documentaries on this. I actually found out about this story when I watched I Love You Now Die, and that was an HBO documentary. So that's where I originally learned from, but now I'm going to be telling it on this podcast. So, Dylan, are you ready to listen to the story?
I'm ready. Yeah, I gave myself a hug for before, and
yeah.
I'll give myself
all the hugs.
All the hugs. So
be present. Show up for yourself. So, Conrad was born in 1995 in Mattapoisett, Massachusetts. He was known sometimes to be socially anxious, attending school and going into the classroom. For several years, he worked with his father, grandfather, and uncle in his family's marine salvage business, Tucker Roy Marine Towing and Salvage, Incorporated, in the New England area. According to court documents, Roy had allegedly been physically hit by his father and verbally abused by his grandfather, and tried to kill himself in October 2012 while despondent after his parents had divorced. Roy struggled with social anxiety and depression, for which he had seen several therapists and counselors, including a cognitive behavioral therapist in weeks prior to his death. He had been hospitalized for acetaminophen, paracetamol overdose at the age of 17. He was talking to a girl he had met in a group, and she called the police. In the United States, citalopram carries a boxed warning stating that it may increase suicidal thinking and behavior in those under the age of 24. In spring of 2014, he earned his captain's license from Northeast Maritime Institute by completing 3 months of night classes. In June 2014, he graduated on honor roll, highest grade from Old Rochester High School. He was an all-around high school athlete who played baseball, rode crew, and ran track. He graduated with a 3.88 GPA and was accepted into Fitchburg State University to study business. But at that point, he had decided not to go. Michelle Carter was born on August 11, 1996, in Massachusetts to Gail and David Carter. She went to King Philip Regional High School, Rethman. There's not too much information on Michelle, but the article mentions that she struggled with mental health, self-harm, and had an eating disorder. Michelle and Conrad met in Florida in 2012, while each had been visiting relatives. After this initial encounter, they saw each other in person again only a handful of times over the course of 2 years. Despite having lived only about 35 miles away from each other in Boston suburbs. Instead, they mostly exchanged text messages and emails. While much of the media routinely referred to Michelle as Conrad's girlfriend, this was a description used by Michelle, but not by Conrad. He considered her a friend. After learning that he was planning to kill himself, Michelle repeatedly discouraged him from attempting suicide in 2012 and 2014 and encouraged him to get professional help.
Okay, girl.
However, her attitude changed in July 2014.
Ooh.
So these are the messages exchanged from June 19, 2014. Michelle, but the mental hospital would help you. I know you don't think it, but I'm telling you, if you give them a chance, they can save your life. Later. Part of me wants you to try something and fail just so you can go get help. Conrad, it doesn't help. Trust me. Michelle, so what are you going to do then? Keep being all talk and no action and every day going through saying how badly you want to kill yourself? Or are you going to try and get better? Conrad, I can't get better. I already made my decision. So that was
Oh my god.
That was in the beginning of June.
Yeah, I mean, nobody can help you if you're not looking to get better. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it
requires effort too.
Yeah, because it's like,
take care of yourself.
It is your responsibility, and it's just like, if that's something that Conrad can't do, then he's just not in the position to do that, and it's like, maybe it would be better that he talks out his feelings of suicidal thoughts with somebody, but because he feels that help isn't best for him, but I also, can't speak to that because I don't know what it's like to be in his position and what he's feeling, but also to be on the receiving end of that, I feel like it also can't be easy, So it's like,
yeah, how
do you show up for someone in that way, but also how do you show up for yourself?
That's true. It's definitely hard, if you have a loved one or somebody near you too that is experiencing those thoughts and those feelings. Because that's hard too for them. Because you want to help them, but it's a lot of the times it's hard to. How do you help?
Yeah, and I think that's something that we really should kind of look more in depth to and create more of a conversation around that. Because how do you help a loved one who doesn't want help? How do you show up for them? June 23rd, 2014. In this exchange, Michelle discourages Conrad from harming himself. Michelle, how do you want to harm yourself? Conrad, something, I don't know yet. Michelle, please don't. Conrad, I hate myself. I'll always hate myself. I'm never going to view myself as good. I'm so far behind. Michelle, what is harming yourself going to do? Nothing. It will make it worse. Conrad, make the pain go away, like you said. Michelle, it will only make the pain go away temporarily. But when you're done, you'll just regret it and feel even worse. This exchange is on July 7th, 2014. Michelle tells Conrad how she would handle this situation, or his situation. Conrad, if you were in my position, honestly, what would you do? Michelle, I would get help. That's just me though. When I have a serious problem like that, my first instinct is to go get help because I know I can't do it on my own. Later that day, however, Michelle and Conrad discuss the best way for him to produce carbon monoxide. Michelle, well, there's more ways to make carbon monoxide. Google ways to make it. Conrad, oh my god. Michelle, what? Conrad, portable generator, that's it. The next day, Conrad seems less resolute. Michelle, so are you sure you don't want to kill yourself tonight? Conrad, what do you mean am I sure? Michelle, like, are you definitely not going to do it tonight? Conrad, I don't know. I'll let you know. Michelle, because I'll stay up with you if you want to do it tonight. Conrad, another day wouldn't hurt. Michelle, you can't keep pushing it off though. That's all you keep doing.
I'm confused. So now she wants him to kill himself. She's like, do it. Do it right now.
I don't understand. I literally don't understand because it's like, I almost feel as if, and this is just like from my perspective, what I think is going on, but I almost feel as if Conrad's suicidal tendencies may have gotten too much for her, but she couldn't communicate that. So instead of communicating that, she switches her position and she's like, okay, then do it. I want to see you do it. You know? And it's like...
Just because she's tired of dealing with...
Yeah, and I don't know if you've ever been in the position, and if you have, or, you know, if you know somebody that has, but I've been in the position before where, you know, I've tried to leave, like, a romantic relationship, and the threat of, like, I want to kill myself comes up. It's just, like, I've been in that position, too, where I don't know what to do, honestly. Like, I don't know what to do, and I don't know what to say, because it's, like, obviously I don't want you to kill yourself, but it's, like...
I can't do this relationship.
Do I call help for you? Like, what do you need from me so that way you can, like...
Be okay.
You can get help. Like, it's just... It's a complicated situation, you know? So it's like, I can't even say that I would be able to communicate through that kind of situation. But I also don't know how you do. Like, so I just think that if this was becoming too much for her, she could have totally went a different route. But also, that's just my perspective from what I'm reading. July 11th, 2014. On this day, Michelle sends Conrad her opinion about using a generator in the truck, as opposed to a water pump. Michelle. Well, in my opinion, I think you should do the generator, because I don't know much about the pump, and with the generator, you can't fail. So now, not only is she, like, telling him, you keep pushing it off, but also she's just, like, giving him ideas and furthering his ideas on, you know, following through with
like,
this.
No, this will be better if you do
this
it
will
like
be
that.
better. Yeah, and I'm just like...
You can't fail. Like, this will definitely kill you.
Yeah, and even if she was, like, again, over... You know, even if she felt like she couldn't hold space for suicidal tendencies anymore, like, she's still continuing this on and still continuing to persuade him. So I still don't get it. So this is a series of messages from July 4th to 2014. The series of messages was sent over a span of 9 days. And then there's kind of like a pause in between conversations. So you'll obviously pick up on the pauses when I pause. Michelle. You're gonna have to prove me wrong, because I just don't think you really want this. You just keep pushing it off to another night, and you'll say you do it, but you never do. Michelle, see? That's what I mean. You keep pushing it off. You just said you were gonna do it tonight, and now you're saying eventually. Michelle. But I bet you're gonna be like, oh, it didn't work because I didn't tape the tube right, or something like that. I bet you're gonna say an excuse like that. Michelle. Do you have the generator? Conrad, not yet, LOL. Michelle, well, when are you getting it? So not only does Conrad, like, not really reply to her in, like, what she's sending, but she's, like, continuously, like, going on, even without him responding.
She's now, like, more into the idea. Like, it didn't seem like he was that into it anymore.
Yeah, because he stopped responding to you. So it's just, like, why continue on? It's like, oh, okay. Michelle, you better not be bullshitting me and say you're going to do this and then purposely get caught.
Oh my gosh, she's really into him killing himself.
And it's kind of just like, Michelle, and I don't know. It's hard to say because I can't speak to each person's, like, mental health, but it's just like, Michelle, take a step back. Mm-hmm. Look at what you're doing. You're literally persuading another human to kill themselves. Like, do you not realize what you're doing? Especially knowing that someone isn't mentally well and enforcing these ideas even more, like, you're not helping. Like, obviously you were intending to help in the very beginning.